Alright guys, so this is part 2 of my video compilation series, where I'll continue with the reckless driving. In my first video, I spoke about and showed 2 reckless driving incidents that I personally experienced. The next clip shows the first one. And here's the second. Now, before I continue with more clips, keep in mind that most people don't get this type of footage on a regular basis, especially while using a handheld recording device. Also important to remember is that in order for me to get this type of footage, these things had to have been happening for quite some time prior to me actually recording them. In other words, the reckless driving had to be happening a lot before, and that's what compelled me to use a handheld recording device in order to capture these incidents. No one just wakes up one day and decides to drive around with a handheld recorder unless there's something really going on. And as you guys can see, I was able to get a lot of footage. Alright, so this next clip is one of the few where I actually had to drop the camera. As you guys will see, this pickup truck partially blows through a stop sign on me, and I had to drop the recorder in order to grab the steering wheel firmly so as to avoid the accident. Check it out.
Hello? That's okay, yeah. That happens. How old is he now? He's 5. Wow. I tell you, they grow so fast, man. Yes. Jojo is 17. Brianna, yeah, Brianna's 15. Yeah. Time flies, man. You won't you yeah, you wouldn't believe how tall Jojo is. Jojo's taller than me. Yeah, I'm telling you. I definitely will. I definitely will. Listen, before I even start talking to you, I wanna I mean, of course, this is whenever you guys have time, man. I'd like for you guys to come down and visit us out here. We're in Lawrenceville, Gwinnett County. Yeah, Lawrenceville. Okay, we're about 45 miles, 45, 50 miles away from Atlanta, from downtown, Atlanta. We're oh man, wow, almost had an accident here. Damn. Yeah, a lot of that's been going on, brother. A lot of that's been going on.
Okay, so before we dissect this one, because trust me, there's a lot here, I have to show you guys another clip. During this time, I had actually started using a dash cam, but remember, I had trouble with them. And one of the problems with this particular dash cam is that it had no audio. I had lost the audio. Being that I didn't completely trust the dash cam, I continued using the handheld recorder. But when this incident happened, I had to drop the recorder. So you can't fully see just how far the pickup truck sticks out. But luckily, the dash cam was able to get that footage, and you can get a better picture of how far the pickup truck comes out after he took the stop sign. I'll show that in the next clip.
Okay, this is a clip of the same thing. It's just that this is the camera in my vehicle. It has no audio, but you can see what happens a little bit better. Watch how far this guy in the pickup comes out. Took a stop sign. See that? He sticks out, pretty far in that I had to go into the opposite lane. Show you how good God is. There was no car there, because if there was a car in that other lane, I would have crashed. It would have been a choice between hitting the pickup truck or hitting that car. Okay?
All right, guys, so let's unpack this one. The first thing you'll notice is that I was on the phone. I had called my brother and he returned my phone call. That's why you guys heard my cell phone ringing at the beginning of the clip. Now, the reason that I called my brother was to tell him about these incidents. But before I can even start talking to him about them, that pickup truck blew through the stop sign on me. In addition to that, notice how after the incident, I didn't curse, I didn't yell and scream, I didn't fly off the handle. I had basically the same reaction as what you guys saw for the incidents in my last video. Again, it's because by this time I had gotten so used to these reckless driving incidents happening on a regular basis. In fact, the only reason why I said anything at all is because I was on the phone. One key takeaway from this clip is the fact that I stated a lot of that's been going on, brother. A lot of that's been going on. Remember that statement because it's going to be very important for another phone call that I had to make regarding one of these reckless driving incidents. And that phone call was to 911. Now, I don't know how many of you guys caught this, but if you watch closely, you'll see that I attempted to turn the camera to the right towards the approaching pickup truck, just like I did in my last video. Check it out. Again, folks, my body language says it all. Not only due to the fact that I was driving while holding a handheld recorder, but also the fact that I would attempt to turn the recorder towards the approaching vehicle, all while having the presence of mind to realize that I wasn't going to be able to pull this off. Then proceeding to drop the camera and grabbing the steering wheel with both hands so that I can swerve out of the way, all while being on the phone. Folks, my body language clearly shows that not only was I anticipating these reckless driving incidents, but I was actually ready for them. I was ready to act. Again, it's because they had been happening so frequently. These reckless driving incidents were due to a spiritual attack that was done against me. And this type of spiritual attack is consistent with covert harassment, specifically a type of covert harassment called gang stalking. Now, guys, there are two main reasons why I avoided this and many other accidents. And the first reason is Almighty God. That's a fact. The second reason is because of something called hypervigilance. One definition of hypervigilance is overly aware of one's environment and the potential dangers it presents. Another definition of hypervigilance is extremely or excessively vigilant, highly or abnormally alert to potential danger or threat. As you guys can see, it's not a normal condition. However, many targets of covert harassment go into hypervigilance simply because they need it in order to survive whatever harassment is taking place in their lives at that point in time. One can easily see that during this time, I was in hypervigilance. You can tell because in each instance of reckless driving, I reacted early. I hit the horn early and I maneuvered my vehicle out of the way early. Even though it's an abnormal condition, it did help me a lot when this mess was going on. Guys, it was the only way that I was able to drive back then. I'll be speaking more on hypervigilance and giving more examples in coming videos. As always, guys, thanks for watching and God bless.